One of the worst I've ever heard in my life.
I thought so. I hear really.
You can hear it all right, right?
Oh yeah, it's really loud in my headphones.
There we go. All right, live on YouTube, live on the Facebook.
Live on Facebook. All right. Little Degree 45 brought to you by Rock Lobster. B52s is our intro. Excellent. I like it. Here we are.
Here we are.
Are you sharing everything or what?
Oh, yeah. You gotta share
I
stuff.
thought that was the whole point of the stupid song.
We're gonna share while the stupid song plays.
Here, I'm gonna say here. Even on my phone.
I think that actually would probably make me leave if I came into the stream and that was playing. I would open,
make me want to say.
I'd open it
Yeah.
and I'd be like, fuck this.
Doing great now. All right, I'm sending this to USA Stopping Antifa. That's a good group. Let's go to this one.
I'm just blasting it out to all groups. Everything
Blasting
you
it.
have.
Well, not everything.
I always get the notification when I share Degree 45's post.
You weird.
That I shared Degree 45's post because I'm an admin for Degree 45. And I go excited thinking something else happened.
You're saying we should remove your admin rights from the page?
Let me get.
You don't want to get notifications anymore?
No notifications.
Can make it happen.
We get this guy, and then we'll be good. Okay. All right, here we go.
Oh,
Degree
wait.
45, brought to you by and sponsored by B52's Rock Lobster as our intro. What's going on, guys? I am shared. I got everything shared.
I would have left.
I'm shared.
So, Degree 45 is now live, 12 shares. They'll start popping in. Go ahead and share this, folks. If you get in here, share away. Couldn't load post. All right, we're already getting. Kidding me. All right. Let's talk about our first topic here, guys. Don't know much about. I'm going by this time. I'm calling it the murder
going
guy.
right into a topic. No, like, hey, how's it going or anything?
Hey, how's it going? Hey, how's it going?
Give me some wine and dine me at least first. Jesus.
Oh, not even a courtesy reach around.
I need to warm up my vocal cords if I'm gonna be going on a rant.
All right. So what's going on, guys? How's everything going? Degree 45, here we are. Welcome, everybody. If you missed the beginning of the show, you missed Rock Lobster by the B-52s. Cut from Cut Productions Incorporated. Jeremy from Weekly Narrative. Danielle from That's Just My Opinion. Check out all our respected pages if you want to get some good laughs and learn about how to fix all the problems in the world. What's going on, guys?
I don't know about that. I've been spending all week doing research and stuff for this movie that I'm making, and I'm finding a lot of posts by people who are documenting like Antifa violence and stuff. It's starting to become a little more. I think Trump derangement syndrome is kind of reaching a fever pitch right now. So that's kind of been my week, just looking at a lot of stuff like that.
Okay. What's so we got what do you got? The documentary you're talking about?
Yeah, the one that I'm working on.
Perfect. Yeah, I got ways to go, but I haven't even freaking brainstormed even on my end for what I'm doing. What's going on, Danielle? What's your story? What's going on?
You know,
Anything?
just working during the week and trying to train my dog on the leash during the weekends, and it's awful. He barked at a kid today and made him cry.
Awesome. That's probably liberal.
It was horrible. I don't know.
That kid's pretty
scowled
pathetic.
at me.
That's a pretty pathetic kid.
Yeah, was he wearing a helmet?
Was he wearing a vagina hat?
He was in the bed of a truck and he like ran and couldn't get out. And I was trying to pull my dog the other way. And my dog, I don't know if he was just afraid of a kid or was like mad at the kid. But the mom was pretty pissed probably at me because I have a German Shepherd. He's not that quiet.
All right.
But
there we
other
go.
than that, working during the week and then coming to you guys during the weekend.
Slow. It's kind of been a slow news week, to be honest.
It really.
Speaking of dogs, Omarosa. That was a big thing in the news this week. But I thought that'd be a good segue since you brought up your dog. Let's talk about Omarosa.
I don't care
thoughts
about
on her. Thoughts on her? Do you think general consensus is she's batshit crazy? Or do you? I mean, my question is like, do you think Trump owed her something or something? Why did she even get a position?
No.
How did she?
Trump actually paid.
Yeah.
Trump comped her entire wedding at Trump Tower, which was about $200,000. She comped it for her, and she repays him by. You guys may have seen the Twitter post that I'm referencing with this statement. She repays him by basically, recording all of her conversations and then trying to backstab him. So.
Yeah, he and Sarah Sanders have both made comments about how she was, he gave her a job kind of and gave the authority to whoever did fire her. They know if she's out of line, if she isn't doing her job correctly, then, you have the means to fire her, but let's give her a chance. So it was kind of a shot in the dark chance with her, from what I've read anyways. And she's, I guess she didn't do what she was put in there to do. And then she recorded them. Somebody say something, because I'm like...
Yeah, well, I agree.
Wow.
Frank Luntz even came after her. If you don't know who he is, he's the guy.
Not Frank Luntz.
Yeah, the guy on Fox. I don't like him either. He was the one that tried to get on Trump for the calling John McCain not a hero. Oh, and by the way, did you know Trump?
He's the one who fakes all the polls.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of them that do that. But Trump said that McCain, he didn't believe heroes get captured. He said that way before that, though. He said that back in like the early 2000s. There was a quote of Trump saying that. It's on YouTube. You can watch it. He was interviewed from somebody somewhere, and he said the same thing back then about John McCain. But that's getting a little off topic. Frank Luntz did say that Omarosa lied and made up everything that was in the book, and also she might be getting pressed charges, I guess, for recording, for bringing in something to record a conversation with her and Trump, and it was what's his name? Who was the guy that was there though?
That's what I can't think of.
Yeah.
It's called an NDA. So there's an NDA that you have to sign when you get into the White House because you can't release any information.
Non-disclosure agreement?
Yeah. So you sign the thing. You say, okay, I'm not going to tell anyone about what's going on in the White House because obviously it's the center of all the most important thing and the most powerful country in the entire planet. I mean, why would you even allow people to say stuff like that? So... I'm pretty sure she's going to get sued, and what her strategy is to write this book about, oh my God, I was so oppressed in the White House, and this is my story, kind of like what happens to everyone who gets... Isn't it funny how every time something bad happens to someone, it's Trump's fault, number one, and number two, they write a book and make a bunch of money about it? Isn't that weird? So she's going to try and monetize it in any way she can, but I think she's going to get sued. Probably.
It's even more sad if what I've read is true about how she was given the opportunity, even though he didn't really have, she didn't have the qualifications as much. She was given this opportunity and he took a chance on her. From what I've heard, I mean, this might be aftermath talk, but from what I've heard, they took a chance on her and it blew up in their face in a really bad way. She just sucks. And her book clearly wasn't that great.
Can I wrap it up with a nice statement? The whole Omarosa thing. I listened to a lot of Scott Adams, and he kind of summed it up perfectly. And I'm going to steal this from him. the moral of the whole Omarosa story is that Trump put too much trust in a black woman and then got backstabbed for it. That's the whole point, moral of the entire story. Is he put too much trust in her and he got backstabbed. So
well, maybe. I mean, Katrina Pearson, I think, is like 50% black, right? Since we call Obama a black president. I mean, isn't Katrina Pearson got some black in her? His
I
campaign,
have no idea who that is.
That was his campaign manager.
What?
Kellyanne Conway?
No, it was Katrina Pearson. Let me tell you what she is. Maybe his chief. It was Katrina. Let me tell you what she was. I know Kellyanne Conway too.
Well,
Katrina Pearson.
I was,
Her deal
I was
is,
trying to wrap up the whole Omarosa thing because I don't care about Omarosa.
What do you care about,
I don't
Jeremy?
think anybody else
Tell us
does
what
either.
you care about.
Jeremy, what do you care about?
I care about Michelle Wolf's show getting canceled.
She was his national spokesperson. Yeah, Michelle Wolf and Joel McHale.
What? Tell us.
That was funny. Well, the numbers.
Well,
the
she
numbers
wasn't
were
getting the
shit.
views.
Yeah, the numbers were shit. So.
I can't handle her voice. Good God. That's like nothing about it would have been good.
like most of everything else, that it was like an affirmative action hire, basically. With Netflix, you know, they assigned her on because she was a flavor of the month. She was in the news for doing her that speech at the whatever it was, you know, that dinner, making fun of Huckabee Sanders and all that. And then they gave her a show, but turns out leftists aren't very funny, number one. And number two,
her voice is really
has
annoying.
like no talent. There's no creativity in that show. It was basically like a very crappy version of what I guess like Colbert used to do or any of those late night talk show guys. But yeah, her voice is really rough. I mean, that's just a little, you know, personal kind of critique. And she was hard to look at for me, but what?
That's how she talks.
Oh,
Got it. For me.
Yeah. No surprise there. I mean, leftists and comedy, they don't really go hand in hand.
That's why we cut.
Yeah, that's why you got me. Michelle Wolf, I didn't really find her. I mean, I like dark humor, vulgar That's why I like Anthony Jeselnik, I think's funny. I thought Greg Giraldo, Bill Burr, Bill Hicks, if you know some of these names.
I know them all. Yeah.
Funny, and some of and even though they were political, sometimes they made fun of the right, and they made fun of Republicans, and sometimes made fun of the left or whatever. But it was funny. Like, it wasn't like their whole, like, I feel like Michelle Wolf, like, that was her claim to fame was that the what was that stupid dinner, correspondence dinner, right?
Yeah, it was the correspondence dinner, I think.
I didn't even know who the fuck she was before that.
Nobody did, and that's how they do it. That, you know, they pull up these like that. They did the same thing with that Camille Numjani or whatever that guy's name is, right? This Indian kid who's not funny at all. He's supposed to be a comedian. Yeah. They put him up there because he's brown, and then, you know, like I said, affirmative action hire. They give it to him, they put him up there. He's not funny, and he disappears into irrelevancy within like 2 months. I think they even tried to give that guy his own show too, or something. They tried to do something with that guy, or he got a Netflix special, but nobody's ever heard of him ever, you know, since then.
Who was it, Cut, that you wanted to talk about that got everything taken away from him? The conspiracy theorist? I can't think of his name. Alex Jones?
Alex Jones.
I thought of his name as soon as I said I couldn't think of it. And then they're giving TV shows to people like Michelle Wolf. Oh my gosh, gag me with a spoon. Conspiracy theories are at least interesting, and they get your mind going. Michelle
Jesse Ventura had his own show. Joe Rogan, I think, had a TV show on conspiracy theories too. Joe Rogan had one that was like, I don't know, like it lasted like a season. It sucked.
Was it about conspiracy theories, or was it just? I thought he was just kind of like exploring.
Questions everything.
Yeah, that's what it was.
He went after chemtrails, but it was always conspiracy theories. He questioned, and you know, he would get high on DMT and then go ask about chemtrails, and then, but yeah, Alex Jones, Jesse Ventura had his own show, I think, called Conspiracy Theory or Conspiracy Theorist or something.
There's something about it on Netflix even, but nothing.
Yeah.
I just, I think that those are interesting. You're allowed to have your own theories. You're allowed to use your mind, and your mind is allowed to work in ways, and you don't have to, you're not a robot. You don't have to agree with what everyone is saying.
No.
Conspiracy theories are always, of course, thought of as being the wacky theory, whatever. But that doesn't mean it needs to be shut down. I don't understand why Alex Jones was shut down. And then, like I said, people like Michelle Wolf are getting their own shows. I mean, she got shut down too, but that's just probably because she sucked. And
she got shut down because she sucked. Alex Jones has a huge fucking following.
Yeah.
Whether it's people wearing tinfoil hats or not, the guy has a following. Michelle Wolf, no one's going to know who she is a year from now.
She's disgusting.
It's always funny to see the intersection of I'm gonna use their buzzword here, their intersectionality, the intersection between meritocracy, right? Meritocracy and then equality. Because equality, if the leftists had their way, if they got everything that they wanted, that Nunjale Kamani guy would still have a show. Michelle Wolf would still have a show, but she exists in a capitalist society where you have to actually have people watch you. You have to actually have people enjoy your show for it to give value to people. You have to have, create value somehow. Her show was creating no value because it wasn't entertaining at all. So
I think it was the
got
voice that
killed.
took people away. I think it was the voice. Her voice at the Correspondence Dinner. I wanted to watch it just to be able to, reflect on it and talk about it with you guys and talk about it in whatever. But her voice was almost too much for me to even get through the 20-minute stand-up. It was like, dear God, stop.
That's
stop.
ableist.
You're starting to see some stuff, though. The left is so
that's
split
ableist.
up right now. There's such crazy stuff going on the left. So Bill Maher defended the Alex Jones. Like, he says he hates the guy, doesn't like him. Ben Shapiro defended him too, and he doesn't like Alex Jones either. But Bill Maher defended Alex Jones on his HBO show. And when he said, as you all know, Alex Jones, got canceled, the crowd starts cheering, and his little panel that he has there of guests are all happy about it. And then he goes, well, as liberals, we're supposed to be all about free speech and First Amendment, and we're not supposed to. We're supposed to be open to hearing other people's ideologies, whether we hate them or not. He said, I hate what Alex Jones stands for, but I hate the fact that they censored him and shut him down. That's pretty much what he was getting at. And he got talking to from his guests, and they all disagreed with him, of course, and his crowd was silent. So it was kind of an awkward moment for him. And who's the other one? Trevor Noah.
The guy who runs the clap sign, because when you're in those shows, they turn on a sign every time you're supposed to clap and cheer. The guy who was running that kind of screwed up because Bill Maher was trying to segue into about how that's bad, but then the whole crowd was cheering. Yeah, he got kicked off of YouTube. Yay! It's like, no, you're not supposed to clap for that.
Yeah, a bunch of robots.
So stupid.
Who was the other one? Trevor Noah was talking about the GoFundMe's for Peter Strzok or whatever. Peter Strzok or whatever.
Strzok,
and he was talking about how it was all fake, and he said, I can't believe people are giving money to this guy. Like, just say, and I couldn't believe it. Trevor Noah
he
going
created.
down that road. Yeah, it was just kind of funny, and I think the left is kind of, at least you're starting to see it. But I guarantee Trevor Noah, you got to watch the clip. I watched it, but it has to do with the fake GoFundMe's and how much money Peter Strzok has gotten from these GoFundMe's, like 250,000, 150,000, 500,000. And he goes, it's kind of like similar to, he goes, why does this guy need more money? He goes, it's like a homeless guy comes up to you, hey, I need $50, I need some help. You give the guy $50, and then he's like, actually, I needed 100. Actually, I needed 200. Actually, I needed 1,000.
Right.
Was the example he was given. But they were saying that he's going to get some heat for saying anything negative about Peter Strzok or saying anything negative about anyone who's against Trump.
He tried to get out of the lane of that narrative just a little bit. He was like, he put his turn signal on. That's enough to get yelled at by your slave masters, essentially, in the kind of big media world. So that was funny.
All right, everyone's talking about Netflix here in the comments.
Yeah, I just commented back. Sorry about that. I just finished a series called I Am a Killer. It's about
rainbows.
Inmates. It's about inmates who are on death row, and I haven't decided my position on capital punishment yet, if I'm for or against it. So it was a really interesting series for me to watch personally.
And you don't have to have a strict hardline opinion on it.
But I mean, it's just something I'm interested in. So I watched it, and it's interesting to see the difference and feel out the different behaviors of different inmates and how they feel and if they're remorseful and what their position on death row is and et cetera, et cetera. So that was my recommendation. What about you guys? Are y'all watching anything fun on Netflix?
I canceled my Netflix.
Boo.
Oh.
Yep, gone. See ya.
I still got it. I got it.
Nah.
Prime's just as good.
I'm watching Stranger Things.
For the first time?
Ew,
First
no.
time. I'm on the last episode.
Season 1 or season 2?
Season 1.
Oh, okay. What do you think so far?
I like it. I thought it was pretty good. I didn't think I was going to like it because I'm not really into pop culture. Everyone says, watch Breaking Bad, watch Game of Thrones, Stranger Things, all this shit. And I tried a lot of them. And this one, I've gotten to the point where I'm actually on the final episode of the first season. Rick Grimes, by the way, is going to die in Walking Dead this season. Not to spoiler alert.
I thought that show was really slow moving.
I stopped watching that a couple seasons ago.
Stranger Things?
No.
Yeah, Stranger Things. I heard it was slow moving. Sorry, I think.
No, it's not slow moving. Right away at the beginning, a kid gets fucking abducted and.
I'm so lame. I don't like anything fiction. I only want nonfiction, something that I can learn from, or like stand-up comedy. Anything that's fiction, it's just boring. I don't know. I know you're.
That's how I am. That's how I am with books.
Jeremy.
Yes.
Jeremy's the absolute opposite of me, I think.
No, I'm a huge documentary guy. I'm futuristic, yeah, but I'm big on documentaries. I didn't like Stranger Things, and honestly,
Making a Murderer?
I got bored of it. I couldn't finish it.
Wait, what?
Making a Murderer or whatever it's called.
Oh God, I didn't even get through the second episode. Yeah, it was sucked.
Yeah, I got bored. I wasn't. I couldn't find myself getting emotionally involved in the storyline, which is kind of the whole point.
What's your favorite documentary, Jeremy?
My favorite documentary.
Doesn't have to be favorite of all time, but one that comes to mind.
I was gonna say I canceled my Netflix because they stopped having good quality content, and one of the things that I watched on there was their documentaries. Probably the most recent one that I watched was about. I watched a lot of health documentaries.
One about the one that Michael Moore did about Cuba.
No, real ones. This one was about wheat. I think it was called "What About Wheat?" It was the title of it, and basically all about how we've changed wheat over the years to become something that it's not, and how the human body isn't really prepared to deal with modern grains, and that's kind of the reason why people are having so many problems with digestion and eating like gluten and stuff. That's the whole basis of all that. So.
So,
documentaries.
Gluten.
I don't eat it. I don't eat carbs at all. I'm on a keto diet right now. So, aside from the occasional.
Keto is good for cutting fat but not building muscle.
That's my goal.
Jeremy wants to be scrawny and
lean, scrawny. He's on the soy keto diet.
No soy.
No soy. No soy. No soy. Mateo. The documentary, I think best documentary I've seen would probably be Hillary's America, Dinesh D'Souza.
I was going to ask if anyone saw the new Dinesh D'Souza movie.
Did not. I want to. I didn't see it.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be like a DVD thing or a download for me.
But what was the first one he did of Obama on the cover? Death of a Nation?
No, that's this one.
What's the first one he did? That's the one that's the second highest grossing political documentary of all time. After, I think...
Never saw
Fahrenheit.
it. I don't know.
It was good. The Hillary's America one was good. It shows when he was in prison for doing the same thing Rosie O'Donnell did. But
right.
I haven't even heard of this. I need to check into
You need to watch Dinesh
Hillary's America.
They're pretty good. pretty
Or
good.
read his books. Read The Big Lie. That's good. It's basically, I think it's the same kind of material that's in this new movie. This is from his book, The Big Lie.
I think Liberty Defined, Ron Paul.
I've never seen that. I'd have to check that out. I didn't know he did one.
What's the story of this murder guy? This guy that murdered his wife who was pregnant, and I guess they had kids too, murdered the kids. What happened there?
I was trying to figure that out before the stream. I don't know. I'm trying
Danielle, you got any news on that?
Oh my gosh, I told you I just watched a video about it when I was getting ready. I've kind of kept up with it in small increments, but basically this man killed his 17-week pregnant wife and 2 kids out of the blue. Nobody knew that it was coming, and everybody says he was like a great, neighborhood guy. He was really friendly.
They always say that.
He was there to help, blah, 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 blah. And he was actually featured on TV asking whoever had the people, or whoever had his wife and kids, like, let them come home, wherever they are, come home. And then he broke down and confessed to the police, I think, during an interview a couple of days after. And so now everybody's kind of pissed.
Well, he was running around pretending he didn't do it for the first, little bit, basically.
Basically, they found the wife, the pregnant wife, in a shallow grave, and the children on site where he worked, I believed, in a giant oil canister.
Yeah, he worked on an oil field. And that's where he buried his kids. If I was going to kill somebody, I wouldn't bury him at work. Just first initial thought on that.
But
So I was trying to figure out, because I like to play internet psychologist, I was trying to figure out why he would do this, you know what I mean? And obviously we don't have any motives right now, but if you look at some of the pictures that this guy was with, this chick, he looked really codependent, like super dependent on this chick. And she had these posts on Facebook where she was saying stuff like, oh my God, you came to me at the most lowest point of my life, and I just got diagnosed with this and that, and I can't believe I have you. You're everything to me, and this and that. A classic kind of like the codependency situation where they're both really like at rock bottom, and all they have is each other. So I think maybe this guy was like a soy boy to a certain degree. I don't know.
I saw an interview from one of the friends, I guess, of the family, who said that when they made the announcement, I guess on Facebook, or if it wasn't on Facebook, who cares? Regardless, when the announcement was made, that he almost had this fake excitement that he wasn't really happy to be fathering another child. I don't know if that could have been a possible motive, or she was just spitting shit out her ass to get her 15 minutes of fame. I'm not really sure, but everybody's wondering what the motive was for this, because what could be the motive for such a heinous crime? I mean, 3 children and their mother, your wife. How horrible.
Maybe she was cheating on him or something.
But then the kids, I don't know. It's
well,
just,
when you're in that level of like rage, and you're just the crazy thing about it though, because you could say well, the rage that you get through makes you blind, and it makes you do something stupid like killing your kids. But then how do you do TV interviews after the fact? With a straight face and
psychopath
act like, there's something, like if I'm putting myself in that perspective, in that situation, I would probably have like a panic attack trying to keep what I did in my head. But that's because I have a conscience, I actually have a set of morals and values. You have to be completely morally void of anything meaningful to be able to do that, to talk and act like nothing happened after you just killed your own kids and stuck them in an oil well or an oil jug or jar or tank.
That's what makes it seem premeditated as well, is like the burial site.
What they're still trying to figure out is there's speculation that they were killed in the house, because they don't know exactly where they killed him yet. He probably killed him in the house, and then took him to all these different locations. So he buried the wife and then put the kids in the oil.
Yeah. That's really
We'll find
horrifying.
out.
I don't know, as a human, I don't know if it incites the same feelings in you two, or if it's just like a typical feminine response. But that just like gives me chills. It makes me want to. Oh my gosh, that he would, the way that he disposed of his young children. That and the I don't know. Just that's how I don't know. That's horrid.
Trying to fathom.
Guys, I got some good news here. Can we bring this guy on?
Yes.
Yeah.
I see. Yeah,
Jeremy's the tech.
Is it the guy we were talking about?
Yeah. So here's the deal. He's got the lawsuit going on and everything like that, so he can't describe in detail the attack, which makes sense. He can say that it happened and it was him. That's about it. And to kind of just go over the event, you know. So we'll ask him kind of.
Is his lawyer coming on too?
No.
Yeah.
That'd be cool though.
Can we explain who this is to our viewers, or are we going to do that whenever he comes on?
We'll explain that to him if he comes on. I'm just waiting to get.
If you got my hopes up, Cut.
He just messaged me. I don't know why he would message me.
Well, you as soon as you just invite him into Skype. But while you do that, the thought that I had that I was trying to articulate is that imagine being with somebody for so many years like that, and then finding out that far into your relationship that they have the capability to do something like that. You know what I mean? Like, how can your brain even recover from that kind of shock and that kind of trauma? You know what I mean?
You mean, she's dead.
Right, but I mean, like all of her friends and her family, and if she wasn't killed, for example, if he just killed her kids, but you find out at the last second, in her situation, at the last second, that your person that you were with for all this time is capable of doing that, like.
And you know what's crazy? What's crazier is we have this stereotypical image of these psychopaths who do these kind of heinous crimes. When I first found out about this, I didn't see it on the news. My grandmother actually told me, so I looked it up beside her, and my first reaction was, whoa, this guy's good looking. And she's like, yeah, he's a good looking guy. You wouldn't think that this average, whatever good, he was very good looking for his age. Unfortunately, he's a killer. But you wouldn't think that this neighborhood helper, average man that doesn't look like a psychopath, he looks like a healthy individual, he's married with all of these children, and then he's capable of not only murdering them, but like I said, the disposal of the bodies to me was just the cherry on the top. That's just horrifying, and I can't wait to see how this case pans out, because I believe that his confession was almost in a breakdown format. I might be wrong, but from what I've read up on, he kind of just confessed during an interview, like it came out.
You gotta be pretty man, like if you do it out of passion, like you hear something and you get upset and then you just kill somebody, but then you think like you're gonna get away with it, and then you try to hide the bodies, like it just doesn't match up, like, yeah, obviously it wasn't very premeditated if he did kill this, because he wasn't very planned out, and then he goes on the news and acts like he doesn't know what happens, and he's a terrible actor, because he's sitting there like, oh, I remember, I just want to tell my kids to eat their vegetables or whatever, and he's like, you can tell he's not, just the body language alone is like way off. He's fucking terrible at it. So.
He was talking about him in past tense was one thing that, a specialist who watched his
video. Okay, so that's what it says. This is what CBS used when I sent it to them. So I'm going to try to, I don't know what this is. Live. That's a weird Skype name. Okay. Wait. So I'm going to click some buttons here. Hopefully I don't get lost, okay?
Are we adding someone now?
He's going to try, but he's not the best with computers, so there's a good chance that...
It's better than me trying.
That's for sure. You can barely put in headphones.
Shut up. I just don't like to wear them. All right.
951.
I want to let Kat do the reveal on who this guy is.
I know.
87 B4 B The fuck is this shit? B. 322A. There he is. That worked.
Oh gosh.
Oh wow. Hold on. Let me see. That's what it says. Okay, I am gonna call now. You guys keep talking while I'm just asking if he's ready.
Can you hear me the same, Jeremy?
So yeah, the guy murdered his wife and kids. Sucks. Omarosa's a dog. Alec Baldwin's daughter's a whore. Did you guys hear about that?
No. He was so out of line.
All right, he's ready.
Add him to the call.
Adding him in.
Get him in here. I'll have to mess with the video for a second, but we can definitely make it work. Window capture. Guest video. Whoa. Let's see. Skype. That's weird.
Okay, there he is.
Oh.
You there, Tim?
Crop.
There he is. Oh boy. He's driving. What's going on, Tim?
Yeah. Not much. How are you doing?
Good, good. We're live right now. Thanks for coming on.
Not a problem.
Hey, so I know you can't talk too much about it. So you were at the Social Distortion concert, correct?
Yes, sir.
And were you front row or were you second from the back? Where were you when this event took place in the crowd?
When I was attacked.
Yes.
When I was attacked, I was after I was called to the front. I made my way to pretty much on the front row on the fence.
Okay, and now I see it in the video, and I know you can't say too much. I see in the video that he looks like he almost spit towards the crowd, or maybe towards you, and then he takes his guitar off. Was there anything that you said, or anything that triggered him, you think, or were you just silently protesting with your middle finger up in the air after he made some comments?
No, at that time I was still silently protesting up until he spit in my face.
What did you do when he spit in your face, or you're not allowed to say anything?
I mean, we exchanged words, and I mean, even I told CBS that at that time, but that's pretty much. I mean, of course, what else is anyone's gonna do if they get spit on, you know?
Right.
So,
was he the only one that attacked you?
yeah. I mean, I was held back from the crowd. I wasn't able. My arms were pulled back. I was pushed up against the fence when the whole thing happened. So I wasn't even able to defend myself or anything.
After the attack happened, what were you escorted out? Did security get involved to escort you out? What happened after the attack?
I actually asked the security. No, I told them I wanted to make a report, and I asked the security to remove me from the audience at that time. Asked the one security guard there 3 times. About the 3rd time after I asked is when one came up from behind me when I wasn't even doing anything. One came up from behind me, put me in a chokehold, and dragged me out. The whole time, you know, I've done security and everything else. They should have pulled me, walked me through the side, you know, across the front to the side exits. But instead, they dragged me out in a chokehold through the crowd. While in a chokehold, I was being punched by pretty much all the crowd all the way out. So.
Jesus.
Oh, wow.
So, what was he saying on the stage that made you want to give him the middle finger? I'm a Trump supporter. I don't know if you are. Obviously, I'm thinking you might be, or you were just tired of listening to him rant about politics, and he should just be up there playing music. What what was it that he was saying?
It was just pretty much the whole left everything they all say. He's, he's racist. America's racist. Is the easiest way for me to put it is an anti-Trump, anti-American speech saying how Europe is this and America is that, and I mean, I don't go to places or I don't go to many concerts, and the one time I want to, I want music. Grew up listening to Social Distortion, so.
It's just...
Yeah, I mean, you probably already knew too that he probably wasn't a Trump fan, right? I would assume. Right. I mean, most musicians I listen to, I don't think any of them like our president, but right. It's kind of, unless I guess Meatloaf was all President Trump could get at unfortunately for some of his stuff during his campaign trail. But so did the band just continue to play after this all happened?
After he got back up on stage, they continued to play, and he didn't really do much. He played a little bit, and then pretty much ended with saying, hey, stick around. I'm gonna F you and he's gonna rape me. So.
Gonna rape you?
My God.
If the one video on YouTube, that's pretty much the only video that they have for some reason. You can actually, if you watch it all the way through, you can hear him say it. So.
Wow.
That's
so. What kind of injuries did you suffer, Tim?
I occurred injuries. I'm gonna hold off on those. So.
Okay, that's okay. Danielle, Jeremy, you guys got any questions for Tim?
Yeah, I'm curious. Did it seem like there was anybody else in the audience who kind of felt the same sentiment as you, that they didn't want to hear any kind of political stuff at the concert?
No, I wasn't the only person. A good handful of people, even right around me, but like where my cousins were and a couple other friends, they said a good handful either walked out,
really,
were cut them out. I had a couple people while I was standing there quiet with my middle finger up. They came up and patted me on the back and said, I don't have the guts to do that. Huh. They told me thank you. Then while I was outside bleeding after the whole thing, I had a good handful of people come up to me and apologize and wish they could have stood up with me or thanked me for it. So, not the only person, and seeing everything online, there's a lot of fans that are not happy, not at all. So
yeah, it doesn't that genre doesn't strike me as the type that would attract people who are like, the soft socialist type of crowd. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like me going to a Rage Against the Machine concert with a Make America Great Again hat. Probably wouldn't be great, but I like Rage Against the Machine, and I love Donald Trump. But I remember when I went to a Rage Against the Machine concert, they were chanting, and I didn't like George Bush, but they were chanting "Hang George Bush," which for some reason it seems okay to say that about Republicans, but if you do it to Democrats, or if you challenge them or just silently protest like you were and give them the finger, you get spit on and you get attacked. Go ahead, Danielle. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, I wanted to thank you for, first of all, having the courage to, it's like having the courage to throw the middle finger, but having the courage to defend your side of this and your country and not speak out against, but stand up against somebody who was throwing out the stereotypical and this constant idea that America is full of racists and full of all of these Nazis. I'm really sorry for what happened to you, and it's hard to wrap my head around it, but it's just a demonstration that's so eye-opening, and to actually speak to somebody who's been physically abused by somebody just because they don't have the same belief system. Wow.
Which is pretty. The whole situation's ridiculous. Because of course the left, they have the full right for any of their opinions and all their right to freedom of speech. And I believe in that. I'm a big constitutional person. Well, I have my right to freedom of speech, and it seems like anything on the left, they're if you don't agree with them, it gets violent.
Right.
Yeah, Cut and I have experienced that firsthand because we were. I live in Sacramento, but Cut came to visit. We went to one of the Black Lives Matter events just to cover it as journalists, and we were harassed and physically threatened. Is this something that you kind of see as a trend here in Sacramento, outside of just this concert and this one individual instance?
Oh yeah, Sacramento, the Bay, all over, especially California, Oregon. I mean, all the very left side states are just getting violent, and it's not right. Yeah. I mean, they go as far as all the harassment, online, offline. It doesn't
doxing.
Matter. Yeah, and since then I've pretty much had to completely, since my one interview went viral, I pretty much had to put my Facebook completely on lock because I've started getting a lot of hate, a lot of harassment, and still do. So
really, so they saw you on the news article, and then they look you up on Facebook just to talk trash to you.
Yep.
Yeah,
it's pretty much like kicking a sleeping dog, pretty much.
Yeah.
You can see the hate-filled left. I've noticed it even. Well, it's been pointed out to me through an article I read somewhere where they talk about the differences between. You can even see it in the election of former President Barack Obama. Clearly, me being a conservative, I did not enjoy that, and I'm sure that many other conservatives did not enjoy that 8-year-long presidency. But did you see the same kind of rioting in the streets and the same kind of violence that you saw when current president-elect Donald Trump was voted into office? It was chaos. There was no respect. No respect for this country, no respect for our president. It's sickening. And it's sickening that somebody would be physically abused over a difference of opinion. I'm just
at a concert of all places,
Well, yeah, it's big in the music world. Like I'm a big metalhead, and I listen to a lot of grunge and a lot of Social Distortion I like, and there's a lot of bands I like, but they're all like I listen, like people listen to these guys' opinions, like Corey Taylor, Eddie Vedder from Pearl Jam. I mean, you hear these guys and they give their opinions, and people take it. And David Grohl from the Foo Fighters. You hear about these guys all the time, and they badmouth Trump all the time, and people take it to heart and follow. And these people are obviously weak sheep in the head. They can't think for themselves. But the Social Distortion guy, I don't know too much about him personally or read about him too much. I'm not a huge fan. I just know who they are. I know they're big hit Ball and Chain. But yeah, it's just that's just crazy that happened to you, man. And it's probably happened elsewhere, but you were the first one that probably got some light shed on it,
Well, I mean, there's other one. I mean, the other ones that really take place are usually ones that the news will spin completely, and I've been fortunate enough as of now. They haven't been able to really spin it. The worst they've done is Trump supporters accused, or the heckler got attacked. So, but they haven't been able to spin it the way they want. That's why a lot of people's posts on Facebook being deleted, because it doesn't follow their narrative.
Yeah, exactly.
I wish I could apologize for the left, but I'm on the right. But I apologize for them. I mean, I hate that. That's sickening, like I said, and I hate that you experienced.
It's just so weird too. Like one little violent event happened, like that. Okay, so it was terrible what happened in Charlottesville, right? You still hear about it today. It's just crazy shit that happened there from the right and from the left, and all the shit that happened there. You still hear about it all the time, or you'll hear about the white cop that shoots a bike. You hear about it all the time. If something happens where a leftist attacks someone on the right or someone who's pro-Trump, you don't really hear about it. They don't really talk about it too much in media. It's kind of brushed aside. Just like, remember that kid that was getting tortured, I think in Chicago, that white mentally, intellectually disabled kid who was in Chicago.
Yep.
There was like 4 black kids that like tied him up, beat the shit out of him for like a whole day and wouldn't feed him and spit on him. They didn't put that in the news. They didn't talk about that. But if the roles were reversed and that kid getting tortured was supporting Hillary Clinton,
There'd be riots in the streets.
oh my God, it would be all over the place. It'd be all, there's like, and if you, Tim, were a guy who was supportive of Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders, and you were at a country concert or something, and the country guy was a Trump fan and attacked you, it would have been all over the place, all over the place.
Right. I read somewhere tonight, Cut, that there have been, and I don't know how accurate this was. I actually read it from Fox, so I'm gonna go ahead and cite them for this. But I read that there have been 46 killings in Chicago since Friday.
Oh yeah, well it's just that doesn't fit the agenda. They're not going to talk about that.
I mean, but how absurd! 46 killings, and then attention is drawn to one incident. If it has to fit the narrative. It has to fit the narrative, or it's not going to get attention. It's not going to get liked.
Tim, are you still going to be?
I'm really glad, Tim, that your case got light, because wow.
Tim, are you still a Social Distortion fan?
Well, I mean, I like their music, but I don't know if I'll ever go see them again or purchase anything of theirs. But I don't know if it will go to the point of I won't ever listen to them.
Might bring back some.
That's rough because I got a favorite band. Were they your favorite band or just one of your?
No, I wouldn't say favorite, but I mean I've been a fan for
time.
Yeah, a long time. I mean they've been around pretty much my whole life.
Right.
So
that's got to be weird, man. Being at a concert you pay money to see somebody and then they do that shit and then you just give him the thing. And you would think he would think that was like a sign of respect at a Social Distortion concert that you giving him the finger. It was just like, yeah, everybody give me the finger. Like Marilyn Manson, I went to see him and he's not a Trump fan and he told the crowd to spit on him. And that, don't be in the front row during that. But everyone just starts spitting on him. It was crazy. Cool show, and he talks politics, but he doesn't do it at his shows, which I don't think any artist, you pay tickets to go see these guys, dance for me, play my music and entertain me. Other than that, who said it? Shut up and dribble. I forget who said that about LeBron James, but that's what we're there for. Just
politics is overrunning everything, sports,
everything. Can't watch football.
You can't watch anything without politics being thrown in. The Incredibles 2. I went to watch that recently, and I swear to God, I picked up on every little political side note that they had thrown in there. Like, oh, Elastigirl, she's so like feminine, and she doesn't need a man. And then there was something thrown in, I think, about the ice guy for being an African American. I believe there was a little comment thrown in about that, and it's just like, why? That's not necessary, and it's indoctrinating the youth. But I'm getting off topic here. But it's politics in Disney movies. It's random. It's wacky. It's crazy what our country has come to.
Oh yeah, it's all over the place.
Tim, I'm sorry you had to be a victim of the Trump derangement syndrome, but we appreciate you coming on here and sharing, giving your side of the story, man. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, and hopefully, once things go a little farther than they are, that be able to talk a little more about it.
Yeah, good luck with all that. Yeah, I'd love to have
you on again once you kind of are clear to talk more about it. If that's cool with you, we really appreciate you coming on, and we'll definitely love to have you on in the future once you hear kind of what the outcome's going to be.
Yeah.
Right.
I
appreciate it.
Thanks so much for coming on.
Bye.
Have a good night.
Thanks,
Tim.
Tim.
Have a great night. Wow. So that was
for the guests who didn't know, because Cut failed to introduce him before he came on. That was a gentleman who was assaulted in Sacramento by the lead singer of a band called Social Distortion. You may have seen it in the news. I linked the New York Times article in the chat so you guys can read it. But basically, this guy was at a concert. Like you heard, I'm just going to summarize it for those because there's some confusion in the comments anyway. The lead singer made some comments against Trump, and then this gentleman we just had on, Tim, stood there with his middle fingers up the whole time he was saying, and then for a few minutes afterwards, and then the singer ended up basically assaulting him because he was in the front row. The his fellow bystanders, like the concert viewers, were holding his arms back and letting the lead singer beat him. And as they were dragging him out in a chokehold, they were beating him the entire way out, like the concert.
It was the lead singer who beat him?
Yep.
So you can see. So this is. So let me. I'll explain to you play by play kind of what happened.
Kind of a cool story though. Like
probably not better than Tim can, but from what I saw from the video, you'll see that the guy is on stage, the lead singer of Social Distortion. And you can look at him and immediately say, I'll bet you $1 million this guy doesn't like Trump. So you see him, he's playing his music, and all of a sudden he says something to somebody in the crowd, which I'm assuming is Tim. Looks like he spits towards the crowd, towards Tim, and then they exchange words, and then the singer takes the guitar off, gives it to some fucking stage guy or whatever, jumps off the stage, goes after him, and then you can't really see what's going on, but you do see that there's some physical altercation, and then it lasts for about, I'd say about 10, 15 seconds. It's not that long. And then he gets back on stage, grabs his guitar, continues to play, and probably at that point, like Tim was saying, is the part where he was getting dragged out. It looks like we got it here.
Yeah, YouTube's being terrible though. The video is not really
I was
going.
wondering how it was being cut in half. I was like, what's going on here?
So we got it here.
Nope, YouTube's being trash, and it's not really playing the video very
I'm
well.
seeing
Oh no, it's playing. No, never mind.
No, it's not. Anyway, you guys can look at the link in the chat and find it yourself.
Yeah,
I see it.
Yeah, it's not playing.
yeah, I saw it for a second. It's not playing.
No.
But yeah, that was good to have him on. Thanks, Tim, for coming on. That
That's
was our
crazy.
guest this week.
That's
Glad we got him on.
That goes
another
right back
still
full
Trump derangements.
circle to the first thing I said when the episode started. This Trump derangement syndrome is getting out of hand, man. People are just getting violent everywhere, and it's permeating concerts. Oh, now this window's messed up.
It's
Everything, everywhere. There was a lady on CNN, and I just want to wrap it up with this.
What's going on?
There was a lady on CNN who was trying to say that Trump wanted to round people up, and that Trump and all these other leaders like Putin are part of an axis of like evil. She said axis of evil, and then she said, and then she says that if Trump had his way, he would be rounding people up and killing them. And it was so out of left field, so Trump deranged out, TDS, that even the co-hosts on CNN were like, well, I don't know about that, and they were like kind of awkwardly trying to deflect the insanity, the insanity that just hit him right in the forehead, because that's one of the dumbest things you could ever say.
They're like, shit, why'd we invite this person onto our show? Just smile through it, guys.
Yeah, but anyway, the point is Trump derangement syndrome is at an all-time high. I think, the recent elections didn't do as well as they had hoped. This Ocasio-Cortez chick is firebombing dumpsters everywhere across the country, saying stupid things every single week. So it's not looking good for them. I think they're kind of in panic mode,
Yeah, the left's going ape shit. Something's going on. Like, they need to get their shit together.
It's pretty wild.
Their wave is not going to be. Oh, I don't know. This is what somebody said to me. Somebody said to me Ocasio-Cortez is going to get smoked. And I said, well, Debbie Wasserman Schultz got reelected after knowingly rigging the DNC. So,
the only reason Ocasio-Cortez got nominated, she didn't get elected. She got nominated. The only reason she got nominated in the first place is because nobody voted in that district. Nobody voted at all. Nobody cared. There were 17,000 total votes in that sector of New York. So it's like, if people actually went out and voted, which they may in the actual election, then she could still get stomped technically, but yeah,
I hope that we don't turn into socialists because the left's like, we're a little too crazy. We need to move on to something new.
I'm going to move to Puerto Rico.
Everybody is saying, all Democrats are like, do not vote socialist, because they know their own party's going to shit, and they're like, we know you're not going to vote Republican, but please don't vote socialist either, but don't vote us because we suck. So be an independent. or vote Republican because that's the way to go.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's
Well, guys, that was a badass show. I thought that was a good show.
Are we off?
It's pretty
No.
good.
I'm just
Are
saying
we
it was a
off?
good show.
Well,
We're still here.
Yeah, we're just gonna
I'm just saying it was a
randomly
good
cut
show.
it off.
Let's wrap it up. We've been going for an hour and 15. I thought it was a good show. I thought it was good having that guy on. Tim Hildebrand, thanks for coming on, and
We'll be going for
we'll
59
have him
minutes.
on again. Well, yeah, 59 minutes. We'll have Tim back. Hopefully, it sounded like he would come back. He sounds like he enjoyed it. When he's able to talk a little bit more about the situation.
Interested
Right.
to see how that turns out. I don't know how you can get away with that. You know, like it's pretty cut and dry. Assault.
Yeah, there's only a
That's
fucking
disgusting.
video to prove it, but
That's
Yeah.
disgusting. And to hear him talk
he didn't
about
jump off the stage to like blow him a
And
kiss.
500 witnesses.
y'all are guys, so y'all are all like,
Yeah, but those 500 witnesses are also accomplices.
y'all
Yeah.
are like, poof, poof, he got punched in the face. That sucks. And I'm like, the girl over here who wants to cry for him because how fucking horrible. He got humiliated for one, and then assaulted. And
I would say the singer got humiliated, to be honest.
I don't know. I mean, the humiliation it's regardless. It just was a horrible situation, and I feel so bad for him, and I could feel his sorrow, and I was just like, y'all are just like, oh God, like
Yeah,
he was assaulted, and I was like, oh God.
I wasn't getting any
just-
vibes of sorrow from him, really.
I felt his pain. I was like, dude, believe in what you believe in. That sucks.
That
God, that
estrogen.
sucks. That estrogen. Shut up, Jeremy.
Well, he's
saying
healthy.
it's
He's
bad.
fine. He's okay. That's
Yeah,
the
I felt
soy.
sadness. I could see it in his eyes.
When you throw up your middle fingers like that in the middle of a metal concert, you're kind of accepting some risk, you know. And just being front
No,
row at a metal concert,
Fingers.
yeah, but just
I
being in the
would-
front row of a metal concert, you're accepting some risk. So, yeah, it's
Mhm.
but still, I'm not excusing. I'm just saying
That was a whole nother level of but
that
the
was
risk
retarded.
you might get talked to, or maybe security will say something, or maybe a crowd member next to you
You
might
get
bump
treated
into
a
you.
little rough in the mosh pit, you know.
Usually the lead singer doesn't jump off the stage and attack you. I'm
And
just
it's not
saying.
like,
That's
did,
not
what was
usually
the
happens.
entire crowd was supposed to be liberal? Was that the intent? Like he can't have his
Yeah.
own political views. Like what the
Social
fuck?
Distortion came out when you were sperm, so let me tell you a
So
little bit
you
about
were what,
these
riding a
guys.
tricycle?
Yeah, I was on a tricycle.
Oh
But they're a punk rock band, kind of, I guess, kind of like a little punkish, kind of ska-ish. But yeah, they're anti. Well, it's funny too. It's like typical punk rock's anti-government, but they hate Trump. They want Hillary, which is bigger government.
So
It doesn't
ironic.
make sense anymore. It's like Billy
Can she
Joe
just
from
go
fucking
away?
Incredibly
Green Day.
ironic.
But yeah, good show, guys. Next week, Tuesday, 7:45 Pacific
Danny's
Standard Time.
on.
We got a
That's
new
it.
time. What's up, Danny? I hope you got to see a little bit of the show.
Shout out to one of our favorite guests, if not our favorite
Danny
guest.
Farnsworth, one of our favorite guests. What's going on, man? I know you're watching. Everyone, pray for Danny Farnsworth. He's a little in pain right now. Or don't pray for him, as Jeremy would say. Just think of him.
Send your thoughts
some
his way.
I love
atheistic
how I never get caught
and
into
thoughts.
this.
Jeremy, atheistic
Religion,
thoughts and
too.
Christian prayers.
Hey, we can
whatever
live
you guys
together.
wanna- We can all live
Our
together
beliefs, we can.
In harmony.
Yeah.
in harm. All right, guys. Well, cool. That's a wrap. But be sure to check out the new time. Tuesday nights, 7:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 10:45 Eastern Standard Time. And I love to say this. See you next Tuesday for Degree 45's new time, new spot, same channel here at Degree 45.
Oh my goodness.
Later.